Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. We're going to be getting started here shortly. Thank you for joining.
We hear it. I guess a harder day. I thought we were going to go out all the decking.
I mean, if you really want to, not too late. There's a couple of them.
I got all the Moses up there.
It's made by Monday, so I can't think that far. It's made by coloring.
I'll have a juice.
We got
orange
juice, apple juice. You don't want a juice box?
Those are really good.
No, I would like it. I got the parking in the car. So. Back
Would it be easier for you guys to sit in the
Others, yeah.
Am I the only one?
Oh, no, please. Yeah, please.
Wow. Well, why?
Yeah, you guys do not have to.
Well, he actually keeps on the Chick-fil-A.
Nothing wrong with that.
Actually, give me a coffee.
Oh, we don't have a coffee downstairs?
Well, that's okay.
No, we did. Thanks. A lot of fun. Before you come in.
Comfortable?
Squishy or squishy. I was like furniture, so I want to think about it. I'll be right back.
Right?
I always drag my husband. He's like,
When you just want to go look at home,
we
just
need to go
call
look.
me.
I need to move.
You never know, right?
Waiting for one more person. Did you get it? No, I just need left. Do you want to get started soon?
Yes. We can start now if you guys like.
I'm gonna just try to turn it down.
Volume down.
But technology loves me.
Uh-huh.
Keep that sauce.
Well, thank you folks for joining us today at this workshop. My goal is always to provide as much information to the public as possible because people don't know what they don't know, and some people don't know about the new build communities that's out here, and some people don't know what we do as realtors. So I want to make sure that people have an understanding of how we help, and then I'm going to talk about what I do, then they're going to talk about the community a little bit, and then Joe, he's going to talk about the financing part. So this is me, of course, all of my information. This is a testimonial from one of my clients. I watch after his home since I started cleaning it. That's kind of how I got on my entrepreneur journey. So he's been somebody that I've been working with for years. And he says, as a person who is wary of my fellow humans and prefers to keep a safe arm's length, there is one person I have found in the world that I can trust with everything I have, and that is my friend of 10 years, Stephanie Meadows. When I am away on a trip, she tends to my house, property, and vehicle, and I have no qualms at all giving her the proverbial keys to my castle. If she says she will arrive at a given time, she is there. If she says she will do something for me, I can be sure it will get done. If you are looking for someone who is honest to a fault and can get the job done, there is no reason to look further than Stephanie. As I wrote to her a few months ago, you are my gift from God. Like, that is the type of person I like to be. I like to show people that I'm transparent, I'm open. My company is SM Elect Enterprises. I created that with the intentions of wanting to help others build their wealth and do it through real estate and entrepreneurship. I also created a nonprofit called Broken But Restored Family Incorporated. I want to help families who have been affected by domestic violence. I myself have survived 2 domestic violence relationships, so this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. So every commission that I make, I have dedicated putting 2 to 5% of my commissions towards this cause. So going into the buyer agency and the buyer contract. The buyer agency contract, this outlines all of my duties and responsibilities to you, and it explains the relationship between the buyer and the broker. Much like a listing contract when you sell your home, this document is meant to protect you, give you clarification around the service you can expect, and offer transparency around agent compensation. My responsibilities to you: once hired, I owe you duties of trust, loyalty, confidentiality, accounting, and disclosure. The duties of accounting and confidentiality extend beyond the agency relationship rules required, unless required by law, becomes public, or give written consent to disclose. When representing you as a buyer, I have no duties or obligations to the seller except to treat all prospective sellers honestly and not knowingly give false information. My promise: I promise to provide all of my clients a world-class experience when buying or selling. You will definitely notice the difference. The role of the agent and the value that I bring to my clients. I have a very compelling desire to remove all the barriers that stand in the way of my clients and their dreams. With that in mind, I make to keep these promises. I will be absolutely honest with every client, even if it means telling them something that they may not want to hear. I will work diligently to get each client the best possible price within the least amount of time while minimizing the stress. I will effectively communicate with each client in a timely manner any and all facts that may influence their details concerning the sale or purchase of real estate. I will always treat all parties to any deal honestly, fairly, compassionately, and with the highest degree of respect. I will always promote the best interest of my clients, and I will listen before being heard, and I will understand before being understood. I will continuously operate under the 212-degree principle, providing that 1 degree of separation from me and my competitors. I will continuously strive for excellence and seek out continuing education opportunities in order to provide the highest level of service to each and every client. And finally, unlike your doctor or lawyer, I still make house calls. So I know sometimes we don't necessarily want to hear the things that we don't necessarily want to do, but I had a client that I was working with, and I told her not to do some of these things, and she did them anyway, and she said, I wish I would have listened to you. So just in case, as you guys start the process, if you're already homeowners, you kind of know a little bit of this, but sometimes for those who don't know, these are some of the things you don't want to do when you're beginning the process of a mortgage loan. You don't want to change jobs. You don't want to buy another vehicle. You don't want to spend way too much money, and you don't want to make too many large deposits. If you can, avoid co-signing with anybody else. You want to make sure you stick with the same bank account that you applied with. And you don't want to open any new lines of credit, and you don't want to omit any debt from the loan application. So those are just some of the things that you don't want to do. And a few final things that need to happen before closing. Our final clear to close is given by the lender. Once their underwriters have cleared all conditions and given us the go-ahead to schedule closing with the title company, final paperwork. When you get the clear to close, the lender gives the final numbers and closing package to the title company. The title company then prepares their closing documents based on what was provided by the lender. Their documents then go back to the lender for final approval before numbers are given to us and you guys. The final walkthrough, the home needs to be delivered in the same condition or better as when you guys made the offer. The buyers will usually schedule a final showing of the home so they can do the walkthrough and pretty much verify this. And then you want to transfer all of the utilities the day after closing. Usually both parties will find somewhere that they can meet in order to close with the title company. A realtor representing each party is required to be there. The title company or the closer will go over all the documents with each party and will get all signatures needed and notarized, and the deed will get recorded and transferred with the county. What are some of the things that you would need to bring? And of course your ID, and make sure that it's not expired. Sometimes people try to get away with some of the craziest things. Then of course you want to make sure that your wire is being transferred through the bank and you guys have enough time to do that. So as soon as you get the clear to close from the lender, the title company will work up the settlement statement, breaking down all the numbers, including the amount you would need at closing. If the amount is over $10,000, it must be wired from your bank to the title company. Otherwise, a cashier's check will be just enough. Ideally, this is done prior to closing or the day prior to closing. So you want to make sure you have more than enough time. And then your keys in possession and your home. So there's some little wish lists, so things that you want to have in your home, things that you definitely you can't live without. You want to make sure you have a notation of that. And then these are some of their featured homes that are available in April as well as May. So they're going to talk a little bit more about that information. And I'll take it on over to you.
Hey, you guys have any questions before we move on?
No.
Perfect. Well, my name's Nicole. I'm a sales consultant here at Heights at DTC. And we offer 3 different home designs here. And we are Toll Brothers' first detached townhome product. So really exciting. We offer privacy yards with a 6-foot fence and then rooftop deck options. So obviously depending on location, wherever you guys might be looking, rooftops are not always offered as an option. So it's really exciting that we can offer that here. We're a very small community. We're going to have 39 home sites total. And then we also have our price point is $750 without the rooftop, $850 with. And then currently we have build-to-order homes with a 10-month build time frame. And then we also have professionally designed homes ready for a earlier move-in. And we are also offering $20,000 for some of those April-May closing timeframes. And Joe is going to dive into what $20,000 can do for you and how it can save you money monthly, which is super helpful.
Yeah, sure. Hi everybody, my name's Joe Claffey with Toll Brothers Mortgage. So just a couple of things we just wanted to kind of give you some of the advantages to working with Toll Brothers. So the main thing is we are a correspondent lender. What that means is we can shop it essentially for the price of one. We can look through the 14 different investors that work with us. So we work as a mortgage banker, which means we'll lend the money, we'll get you in, and then we don't service it. So we work with US Bank, Wells Fargo, different companies that will purchase it from us. We have no prepayment penalty, which is great in this rate environment. If rates decide to dip, hopefully sometime in the future, but we never know with tariffs and different things that are coming across from the government side. Inflation looks like it's still here. We see eggs costing $10 for 12. So
that's because what? Cage free.
It's cage free. We want to make sure they're having a good time out there. So. But that no prepayment penalty means we can literally refinance at any time. We are Toll employees, so we are part of Toll Brothers culture. I can text Shauna, I can text Nicole if we need anything. We have direct contact to all your paperwork, all the additions you want to add, anything you want to put in there. We get all that information relayed directly to us, whereas using outside lenders, you don't get that carte blanche service. We also have direct contact with title, so we can get everything set up so it's a smooth, easy process for you as you go through the process, because obviously the exciting part is picking out the options and having fun. Let's worry about payments later.
Who do you work with for title? Or you have your own title
For
company?
title,
Heritage
it's
Title.
Heritage, Colorado.
Mhm, they're in Lone Tree. They have a couple different locations, but the office we use is in Lone Tree.
Yeah. Do they have options for title, or is it mainly all through Heritage?
It's all through Heritage. You can use your own
Oh, I was just
title
curious,
company,
yeah.
but you could incur like additional fees and charges if you go outside.
Yeah. So we are part of that. We have recast options, so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the term recast for mortgages. So where it really helps out, and let's say you were selling a house, but you qualify to buy this house, and maybe you don't have all the money sold on that house. You have the option to do it once a year, twice a year. You can throw a large lump sum at it and then recast it, which will enable us to lower your payment down to the new balance would be. Versus in the old days, you would pay a big chunk of your balance and your payment doesn't change. It just pays it off earlier.
Okay.
So we have an option to do that. So if you have a bonus coming in, or maybe you sell a house down the road that you want to throw, a big chunk of cash at the loan to keep your payments down, you can do that. And then we also don't sell any information. There are things called trigger leads. Anytime you run your credit for a credit card, an auto loan, or a mortgage, the credit agencies actually sell your information immediately. That's why you get all these mailers and phone calls. So just know that we don't share that information with outside sources. It's coming directly from the credit companies. So we did show a couple options. So they did mention you have a $20,000 seller credit. We used this on one of the lots. I think it was 29, which the sales price was about $865. So the one option, you could take that 20K seller credit, lower your sales price. We're just using national average 7%. You may qualify for something better, but that's currently where rates are today. So a loan amount with 20% down with a 740 FICO, roughly save you about $120 a month. If you're looking for initial savings, day one, year one, year two, we have a 2-1 buy down option, which is really allocating that 20K credit towards your financing and keeping your seller price at that $865. So we would come up with the same loan amount of $691. The first year savings, we can lower the rate from 7 to 5. So you're now paying $890 a month in savings is how much less you would have the first year. The second year it jumped to 6%. That's roughly saving you about $450, and then it would go back to 7. And again, you have the option to refinance at any time. You're not locked in. You can refinance the first year if rates drop. So it's just a nice tool that we've been able to use to keep payments lower in this high rate environment, at least for the initial couple of years that you get in. Are you guys familiar with the 2-1 buy down, or are you guys more going cash route when you're coming through? Or more financing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's up to you. I mean, we have a lot of clients go cash. Some might just do, if they could afford the whole thing, maybe finance half of it just to not throw all your cash into the property. The other option is we could take that 20K and just apply it to permanent pricing. So you would get from like a 7 down to a 6.5. That's basically applying that credit, so it stays at $235 for the month, life of the loan. So it really comes down to how you want to tailor it. We have different options to get you there. Toll's willing to kick cash in to get you, into the property too as well. And then the next stage would be once you're ready to move forward on a property, you would complete the home buyer questionnaire. That's basically a toll devised site where you can get all your information in there, get preliminary proof for the purchase. I believe that's when you guys would sign the agreement of sale, and then you would fill out the pre-qualification questionnaire, which that comes directly to my team. So I have about 6 loan officers that cover Colorado. I think we have the best, Adam. He's amazing. He's in North Carolina, but he crushes it. He takes all the deals and gets them done, and everyone's very happy with the process. So they'll get you pre-approved, make sure everything looks good. You have about 45 days from the time you sign to get approval with us. You're not forced to use us, but Toll wants you to go through us just to make sure we have everything set up right way. We have the great communication internally. When there's issues, we can let Toll know and work with you. So it's just a real nice feature. And then Toll's willing to give cash to using us as the mortgage company as well. So that's all different
Is
features.
this across all your toll locations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it nationally. I came from the East Coast, so Toll actually started out outside of Philadelphia. So that's just, we don't force you to apply. We force you to apply, but we don't force you to use us. And we give you incentives of why you should use us. So we're always looking at different ways to be different promos, different ways to help bring that cost down, because it's obviously, we're still selling a lot of houses in a high rate environment, which is impressive. But we try to tailor and come up with creative ways to make financing easier for people. And again, there's no prepay. If you find a better deal, we can do that. If you come across, issues with like income or self-employed, we have referral partners as well that we can refer you to that do all kinds of crazy stuff that we can't do, because we're kind of, your A-paper box bank stuff. But yeah, we're across the U.S. and we're in every state. We have a team in Arizona that covers the West Coast, and then we have a team that works out of Fort Washington, just outside of Philadelphia, that does the whole East Coast mortgages as well. So.
Quick question, the ones that you work with that are self-employed, do they base it upon, what, bank statements or?
We do have some bank statement programs. Generally, the vanilla stuff is all going to be based on your Schedule C or your end of year taxes, which in self-employed, a lot of that gets written off, which makes sense. So the bank statement program might be an option for you to work that way. And if we don't have it, again, our referral partners usually can do it, and you can still get the incentives that we offer through us, even though we refer you out. So a lot of good options to at least take a look at what we can do. We're really here, and again, we're part of the company, we're employees, we get the same benefits, so we're all here to help out and get you through the process easy.
Yes, indeed. Well, with all of that being said, this has been our presentation, being able to talk about what's going on and how we are able to help you guys. So thank you guys for coming.
So who wants to sign up for us?
How
How many ever you want. The choice is always yours.